professor to do when you give them your DSPS accommodation letter?
In my own personal opinion or experience, when it comes to me personally giving the professor my letter, it was that I don't I have a physical disability that is visible, but mine is mainly mental. Um, my experience with that, it was that when I was talking to the professor and I gave him my letter, his physical reaction of body, not only body expression, but mainly the facial expression when I was pointing my conditions, not my disabilities, because I don't think I'm disabled. I'm still able to function, not as good as before, but I'm still able to do a lot of things. When I was pointing my conditions to the professor, he kind of make a body expression, I'm sorry, a facial expression that it did kind of make me uncomfortable. I wanted to say something, but I'm not reading his mind. So it just probably him being the way he is, or it was that he physically saw me, and perhaps he thought that I don't see nothing wrong with you, but it's just me going to the stream. But it will be nice for them to um, not to do that kind of expressions, because it did make me feel very uncomfortable and very uneasy. But it's understandable. So I don't know. Maybe they need to be more exposed to people without just being physical, um, with a physical condition visible, and more like there's a lot of us with mental conditions as well.
And I wish that you will spend like 5 minutes with me to get know me and to know what are my limitations, what are my needs. Then I can get also the barrier gone that the professor, the big guy, I don't know him for the first time. It will be nice to talk to him couple minutes that he knows what is my need. It's simple stuff, just to be able to write some notes that he pose and give me like 1 minute to write notes about the subject we are studying, to be able to review it later and understand what's going on. Also, I tried to ask my professor if he allow me to have some volunteers that when I have questions, I'm not sure about the homework or the syllabus or the assignments, that I can call these people and ask them, do we have class next Thursday? Yes or no? Also, do we have any homework? So these questions, many students, they will be ready to answer them. If they don't know, they can get in touch with other people. Even in other classes, we had a system to have groups to work together, to support each other, and having better results, to help each other, make it clear what do we need to do. And maybe somebody forgot to write the serial number from the equipment or something. So changing information, it's very helpful and relaxing for us to have not the need to call the professor or bug him with emails about simple things. That will be very helpful and great.
A lot of the time, they just take it, and we don't even know whether they've read it. There's no kind of communication past that. It would be good if we could have maybe an office hours meeting where we could go over what's in there, so we can check that the professor understands what's in the accommodation letter, what it actually means in practice, and if they've got any questions for us about how they can better help us, and then we can also we can have a dialogue about how we're going to proceed forward, because then I as a student know that my needs and my equity are being met, and the professor also knows that he is doing what he needs to be doing, rather than maybe believing he's doing what he needs to be doing.
Why is it important that a professor post the information about the required textbooks and materials 1 month before the semester begins?
It is very, very important for instructors to post their books 1 month, if not sooner, if you have it sooner, because we as DSPS students need to get the books converted over into several different conversions, yet it be audio, visual. DSPS, which is the HTC department, is amazing, here to support you staff as well as the students on getting the books transcribed or converted into whatever we need them to be. So if you don't turn in your book request in a timely manner, we have to wait until you do, and then we get our books, and then we have to take them over to the HTC to have them converted, which takes anywhere between 5 to 10 days, which we all know the HTC is only open 4 days a week. So that can be up to 4 weeks into the starting of the semester. So you really want to get that in as soon as possible, so us as DSPS students can obtain the book sooner and get it converted, so we can start class at least that first week with everybody else versus 4 weeks or 3 weeks behind, which I've done and had to do because of this reason. So please, if you can support us in getting these in a timely manner, this whole community will appreciate you for it. Thank you.
A lot of the textbooks are set. There are alternate versions, and a disabled student does actually sometimes need to purchase those other versions. Sometimes you'll get a class which says online materials only. Some people cannot work just from an online material. They may need it's in a different format, and we need to make arrangements so that we actually have those materials to hand to use when we start the class, rather than waiting and trying to catch up, because if we haven't got the text in a format that we need it, that's going to put us behind, and once we're behind, trying to catch up is even harder. Another thing is that if the book, we need to ensure that the books also appear in the bookstore store at least a month before, because as it's done on the system, the bookstore will release what books are there. But the lecturer may have told the bookstore, but the bookstore hasn't put it on the site, so we can't see. So we need that, and it would also be handy if maybe with financial aid, we get an allowance of money for the books to spend. Now, our different formats can cost a lot more money than the actual books in the bookstore. Yet we're having to pay for it out of our own pocket because we've got to wait for the disbursement of our financial aid until 2 months down the line. But other students can use the money in the bookstore, and we may not be able to use the bookstore to obtain the books that we need.
To have some information about the course we are going to attend, it's important to have a picture from the course, what is about, how huge it is compared to the time we have available to finish this course. So we get the information from the syllabus and how much time we have available, and also we can prepare ourselves to get information about this course either on YouTube, or I wish we can get also with the syllabus some websites to get information about this course. Then we are more confident and more relaxed when we enter to the course. Then we know what's going on, what we are going to face. But just to jump in the semester without knowing any idea what is about, how long will take, how much challenge we will have. They just told us you need to buy a ruler, engineering ruler, and get to FedEx to get big copies, 2 to 3 feet long, to see these construction drawings, and we did. But we didn't have any information about this subject. I wish we had more information. We will be more prepared, and it will be very helpful for us and relaxing without anxiety and fear if we can make it. And believe me, at the beginning, I was about to quit.
Are there any other barriers that you faced with the transition to remote learning that you'd like to share?
As a student of San Diego City College, I am a non-traditional student. I have custody of my special needs grandson. So I am a mother, a grandmother, a caretaker. I am a sister. I am an aunt. I've now became a teacher of all things, of a first grader, which I don't have the credentials. I'm a counselor. I am a physical therapist. All these things I normally would have in separate categories, where normally I would just be a student at school. All these roles were now meshed together, and I was made to have to figure out how to prioritize over 7 different roles in one setting, which was very, very difficult. Plus, a lot of the instructors didn't understand that I'm not a typical student, so it wasn't just me. I wasn't just taking care of myself. I have family members that I take care of that are special needs as well. I have an elderly aunt, an elderly uncle. I have a sister who is on the spectrum as well as a nephew. So these people I literally take care of on a day-to-day, weekly basis. Got rather difficult, especially when instructors gave more work than was required in the week. That also threw me for a loop. To have to do 4 chapters versus doing 2 chapters a week was very, very overwhelming in this pandemic. Yes.
In a normal environment, a lot of DSPS students will make use of the proctoring center, so that we will have, we will do our exams, and we'll get our extended time, we'll get the materials we're able to have, and it's all overseen by the DSPS staff. What's happened when we've gone into an online environment is that the responsibility to give those accommodations has fallen upon the lecturers, and they've had to adjust exams and on exam settings on Canvas and on various other systems to give us extra time. Often that gets forgotten, and we then, as a student, are having to go to our lecturer and go, could you please rejig our exam, because we need the extra time, we need something, a different accommodation, and that's a big problem. Another thing that we had, which was a big thing in the spring semester, and I can understand why, because everyone was trying to get au fait with the new way of learning, but changing a syllabus and changing requirements ad hoc and very quickly, that is something that causes a lot of stress and anxiety. And when some of the DSPS students, stress and anxiety are actually some of the issues that they, depression and things like that, are issues that they actually have. By making such changes, you are exacerbating the problems for them. I've also noticed that, you know, I have not set the, let's not set the work yet, and we've got to be able to plan. Especially as a disabled student, there's a lot, we have a greater workload just to do the same amount of work. So if you don't keep to a schedule, you throw our schedule off, and you make it very difficult for us to keep up with all of our classes because we can't effectively time manage.
Yes, actually, that the technology is the very important thing for us to be able to get in touch with our instructor and be able to understand, because in the last semester, as I tried in the DSPS office to record something, they told me your computer is not compatible for college. You have to buy another one. So I didn't have the money available. Luckily, DSPS and EOPS provide me with refurbished computers and pricey. So I was able to purchase 2 computers, I mean desktop and laptop, the desktop is good for the big construction drawings, the huge 2 to 3 feet construction drawings, to be able to find the small things there. And the laptop is good that we have somehow be able to communicate without problems. But still, the Wi-Fi was disappearing. The Wi-Fi was too slow, and they told us you need more Wi-Fi to be able to Zoom. So I asked Cox to help me. They want to charge me extra $70 to come. So I tried to help myself by purchasing a new modem to get more speed, and it helped me a little bit. So there is many struggle with the technology. Not only we students, also the instructor, they have problems to fix these things, and we had to work together to be able to communicate. Also, when we submit our assignments, we need the knowledge how to do it, how to get the assignments, or the assignments actually, the drawings, what we do, to submit it to the instructor. With Google Drive, I mean, with emails, it's easy to attach the assignments or whatever it is, but he was asking us to submit it to the Canvas. And many times I went to Google Drive, and Google Drive didn't allow me to go to the Canvas, or Canvas didn't accept. So there's few small steps need to be done to be able to convert to PDF or something like that, or Google Docs would be accepted, or to share my information with. So there's many fears, unknown things, the privacy, maybe all students will be able to show, to review my, Google Drive or something like that. So there's many questions. I wish I had some support in these matters, whom to ask. When I want to submit, it's not working, and the professor is giving me no notes for my work, which I did for 2 hours, but I cannot submit it. So all these together were a big burdens on us and challenges, and even the family was affected by this situation, because I sit till midnight in front of the computer trying to please my professor to get my notes. And my wife, for example, was sitting alone, and also I was disturbed by the loud TV. I mean, she's at home. She needs her freedom and privacy. I cannot forbid her to listen to the music loud or something. So I tried to close my door, but still there's disturbance. So we cannot concentrate fully. And the best time I work is at night after 12 o'clock when my wife go to bed. Then I can be concentrating and doing my work. So there's a lot of limitation, which I just remember them, but still there's much more there in the technology, how to fix it. And I hope in the future to have somebody who can help. And I got a number from technology support. I was happy to have somebody to ask. When I call them, they tell me, yeah, we can help you only in Canvas, like how to do this and that in Canvas. Anything outside Canvas, we cannot help you. And I was many times disappointed that I didn't get the help. They didn't even try to look what is about. I said, it's written in English, just tell me what to do, where to go, how to fix it. Sorry, this is not our duty. And I wish in the future to have number which can direct me. If they cannot help me, then go there, they will help you. That will be great. Thank you so much.
Do you have any examples or highlights of professors showing exemplary flexibility during, remote learning transition that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I was studying Politics 102 with Professor Bouchy last semester during the transition, and he changed the syllabus and set us a few assignments to do over time instead of having to do a final. However, some of those assignments were talking about we were having to deal with like political events and do write-ups on them. And all the stuff that was going on was talking about the current pandemic and the issues relating to it, be them constitutional issues or legal issues and stuff like that. And it was, for me, I have stress and anxiety, and a lot of what was going on and seeing stuff and reading about it was actually stressing me out, and I was having trouble completing some of my assignments on time, just because I was having to step away after doing a little bit for my own mental health. And I told my professor this, and he went, "That's not a problem. I completely understand that that could be an issue. Just make sure you get the assignment in by the end of the semester. There won't be any grade deduction. Just make sure you get it in. And if you do get, and once you do get work in, what we're going to do is we're going to give you another shot at doing the work. So if your work isn't quite up to muster, as you would normally have it, what we would do is I will mark it, and then you can do an amended copy based on my feedback, submit it again within a week, and then I will remark it, and the greater grade will count." And I felt that was really helpful with the stresses that were going on, to actually understand that talking about what's going on is, when it's a stressful environment, may actually be a trigger for a lot of students.
Yes, my Psych 101 professor, she also was my behavioral statistics professor. She was amazing. Not only did she check on me, but she checked on all of us. Beginning of class, she would check on us. We would do a 5-minute check-in. I thought that was beautiful. Before class would be over, she would do another 5-minute check-out. She gave us her personal email for us to contact her at any time, at any place, if we needed any type of support in or out of the class, in or out of school subject. She was there to support us. And it felt very, very loving and caring to have a professor go that far for all of us students. Not to mention when Mr. George Floyd was murdered, she literally emailed me, because she knows what kind of student I am, and asked me if I was okay, if I needed her to let her know. And that to me is a professor that went over and beyond. She didn't have to contact me. We were all out of school when that happened. That was a Memorial Day. But that professor cares, so she sent out an email to check on her students. And I love that. I love that she had the passion for educational teaching and for students in the next generation. And I love that. That's what education is supposed to be about. Pedagogy, collective learning. It was beautiful to have her in my world when everything was going, I called it the Twilight Zone. So amazing kudos to the gym that we have in our Psych 101 and Behavioral Statistics class. She's amazing.
What is one thing that a professor can do to help support students with disabilities in this remote learning environment?
One of the things that I can think of that a professor could do to support us DSPS students is to treat us as individuals. Each one of us have different and unique disabilities. We're able differently, as I call it. So it would be nice for professors to look at each one of us as an individual, which we are. We know that the accommodation letter may look similar, but each thing is for each student. So they may look the same, but the student needs it for whatever reason they need it for. And if a professor could support us in that, it makes the educational and the goals of our aspirations of education more plausible. With support from professors equals success for a DSPS student. Without the support of professors, DSPS students cannot make it. We need you, and we want your support because we want to be successful. So I say to professors, please Understand that these letters are different, even though they may seem the same. And if you deal with us individually, you will find out we are very amazing people.
I believe that the facilitators or the instructors, the professors, is not all about having a physical disability that is visible, but a lot of us, we have a mental conditions, not disabilities, because I think that I'm still able to function, but I have certain conditions that it depends on the day or in many factors. I'm not 100% here. It takes me a while to catch up to things, but it will be nice if the professors give us extra 5 minutes to be able for us to explain to them that we need that extra time for them to understand that we're not running, but we're slowly walking to catch up to everybody else, to every other student. And if they have 5 minutes after the class or before the class for us to express our concern, it will be nice for them to be able to do that for us.
How can professors show humanity towards all students, including students with disabilities?
In my opinion, professors can show humanity towards us students and as well as DSPS students by supporting us in our educational goals and not to mentally tear us down when we have shortcomings or adaptive equipment or our DSPS accommodation letters. Just know that we are capable with the support of you and our fellow students. We are able to do all things. Thank you.
Do you have any additional feedback that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to share something small, that San Diego City College has some wonderful professors. We really do. But what you guys have to understand is the bad ones stick out like a blaring light that blinds you. So it is affecting all of us. Yet it be staff, faculty, student and staff, faculty and staff. And I just feel like we need to have more of a cohesive pedagogy type of cultural diversity, cultural competency environment. San Diego City College is one of the diverse populations in our sister schools, and we should reflect that same thing with the staff. And we all should be working on this cohesive learning collective situation, because it's only going to help us all.